A very good Thursday morning to everyone out there across the Wobbles community and beyond. Landing back in the driver's seat here with you early this morning to bring you your latest weather and eye forecast, courtesy of On Target. Obviously, being this Thursday morning, September 11th, thoughts continue to be with the devastating impact that occurred back on September 11th of 2001 with the terrorist attacks and all those who continue to serve our country and give us the freedoms that we grow greatly appreciative of today in particular. So a big salute to all those individuals. Jumping right into it, folks, we got a little bit of cloud cover out there early this morning. We've got this pseudo trough that's kind of meandering right here just along the north of the region that's kind of swinging off to the east. We did fire off a few showers a little bit earlier this morning. We still might have a few sprinkles out there that we run into throughout the day, especially as we get into this afternoon. But we're going to continue to see the heat continue to rise across the region, but the good news is it looks like we could be dealing with some tolerable humidity for the foreseeable future. Getting a look across the region, D93 Skycam, downtown Bowling Green, showing a few of those meandering clouds tracking off to the east, where a few of those light sprinkles were falling not long ago. We can jump over and take a look over the Morgantown Skycam and see right there along the fog advection of the mighty Green River. Be aware of that if you run into some dense fog early this morning. Might want to give yourself an extra few minutes with the visibility that has been down across the region. All right, getting a look out there, temperatures and dew points hanging out right around the lower 60s is not bad at all. We'll be bumping highs right up to the upper 80s to right around the 90-degree mark this afternoon. Folks, it's going to get hot out there, but again, the good news is we're going to look at dew points hanging out, meandering between the upper 50s to low 60s. It's going to be a far cry from what we experienced here a few weeks ago with those dew points lodged way up between the low and mid 70s. All right, jumping over here, getting a look at the lake of surface map, you can see where that low pressure system is located just off to our north and west. This trough is going to be meandering and then swinging off to the east, and that's going to allow for an upper level ridge to build in here. It's going to result in increasing heat as we work throughout the weekend to follow as well. All right, so let's jump right over here and jump into it and bring you the latest in regards to what we are anticipating. First and foremost, you can look at the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. You can see this big upper ridge building in here across from the southern plains. We got this little pseudo trough over here, and that's what's going to keep an isolated shower chance in the forecast as we work throughout the day. You can see here early this morning, picking up on that little batch of showers that we were just talking about, skirting right along the Kentucky-Tennessee state line. That's going to work out of here, but you will note as we work throughout the day, we could see these little sporadic meandering showers, sprinkles that pop up out there. They should remain isolated in nature, unfortunately, because we could use some rain, that is for sure. Jumping over here and taking a look at the temperature forecast over the next few days. After we work throughout today, this afternoon, we're going to be right up to the mid and upper 80s region-wide. Going to get into the final day of the work week. We're going to be catapulting highs up. This is only showing the lower 80s, folks, but I don't think model guidance is correct here. With that upper ridge trying to build in here, I think we're going to close in on the 90-degree mark as we work into our Friday afternoon. And then again, as we get into Saturday, because we're going to be all the way up between right around the mid-80s by the time we roll into the early afternoon hours, we should be approaching the low to mid-90s as we work throughout the entirety of the weekend, all right? That heat will continue to build in here. We will showcase, keep your eyes right here on this upper level ridge that's going to be building and expanding here off to the north and east. That upper level ridge will continue to have a stranglehold across the region all the way through the weekend. Here we are looking at Sunday evening. Then we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Folks, the ridge is still holding strong. Then we're going to be keeping our eyes on these meandering low pressure systems. Got one developing here right off of the east coast, another one approaching here out of the central plains. Right now, folks, unfortunately, looks like we're going to have to continue to deal with these drought conditions across the region. We have an extraordinarily dry forecast intact. We have a little backdoor cold front that might work in here Sunday into Monday, but it looks to be moisture deprived to say the least. Might just bring another jolt of those dew points down to the mid and upper 50s. We can live with that. to say the least. Taking a look here over the next 6 to 10 days, we have got below average probabilities on the precipitation front. Not exactly what we want to see right now with the current drought conditions that continue to unfold. However, it is what it is at this point, rolling through the end, towards the end of the summer season here. We got about another 10 or 11 days to go here before we officially begin the fall season. Getting a look out across the tropics, we got one tropical wave that the National Hurricane Center is keeping their eyes on. 30% probability of a formation here over the next week. Total rainfall amounts for us over the next week could be arriving. Again, folks, take this with a grain of salt. Looks like as we roll into next Thursday and Friday, roughly a week from today, we might get that ridge to break down and that trough to build in here. We could definitely use it. As we could be looking at, we want to see some more rainfall here in our guidance for obvious reasons, but it doesn't look like that's going to come to fruition. All right, so here's the latest updated outlook. It actually just updated. I don't know why that is just now holding true, but this is valid through Thursday and next week, and we got next to nothing on the rainfall front. But again, we'll be watching roughly a week from today, 8 to 10 days out. Maybe that trough can come in here and bring a little bit of moisture along with it. Landon, why do we need it? This is why we need it. Take a look at our latest drought monitor. Latest will be released here in a few short hours, in about an hour's time. For the latest updated drought monitor, we have received a little bit of rain here over the past week, but folks, not enough to put much of a dent in it. Still got the vast majority of the Commonwealth underneath moderate drought conditions. That is not what we want to see. So hopefully we can get some more of that in here, to say the least, okay? Here's a full breakdown of your next 6-day weather forecast. Severe clear. Again, hardly nothing on the rainfall chance front outside of an isolated shower chance today. Going to be looking at upper 80s, lower 90s today, all the way through Saturday. And then, folks, you can see throughout the early days of next week, as we progress throughout our Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we're going to be looking at mid-90s realized. But again, if there's any positive to take out of this, it's that the dew points and the humidity should remain tolerable throughout this point in time. Friends, it's going to wrap up your Thursday morning, Baby Friday edition of your Weather or Not forecast, presented by On Target.